Okay, here we go. Fuck. That's. It literally took us an hour.
What
We
was
came in at 1:30 right now,
Oh, wow.
and now we've just started the first recording.
Okay. Welcome to the podcast, guys. I'm your host, Brian.
I'm John. Episode 0.
Episode 0. Not episode 1? Oh, okay. Episode 0 is usually the pilot. Okay.
Yeah, the pilot. Exactly. That's what this is.
So the first one, we're still going to do Evangelion.
Yeah. I mean, if we're probably not gonna have enough time to do the whole thing in one episode,
Yeah.
so we might, depending on how well this goes, we might just do this over again for the first episode, or maybe a later episode,
Mm-hmm.
because it might be boring just to talk about this the first week and then talk about the same thing the second week.
Okay, I see.
Like considering revisiting it at a later time rather than just immediately doing it for the real first episode. I don't know. Just whatever is fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you want to start?
Are you still recording right now?
We're still recording.
Oh, I see.
I don't think it's showing up on the slider. I have no idea how to work it. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So it's recording. We're fine. With that.
Okay, cool. All right.
Finally, we're.
Finally.
Where do
getting
where
started.
do you want to start?
Okay. Let's just start. Let's just go for it and start right at the end when the last two episodes. What really happened there? I was just kind of confused about how all of that, the last two episodes unfolded. And okay, let me start here,
Mm-hmm.
dude. After I watched the last two episodes, and I told you this before we started recording,
Mm-hmm.
I just felt immensely sad and felt terribly alone. That
First of all, that's a pretty natural reaction. I mean, the overall presentation
yeah.
of the ending is incredibly bleak.
Mm-hmm.
So that's definitely not an unusual feeling to have. And here's the thing with the ending. Uh, in my opinion, it's more important to kind of focus on like what you talked about, how it made you feel rather than the details.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, that was after watching the theatrical release, right? Because the other one where they did the regular release, that was so rushed that I didn't really have the chance to experience that type of. It was just so awkward the first one without
Yeah,
the
but
theatrical release.
I think the right order of actually watching that potentially is you just watch the theatrical release first,
Mm-hmm.
and then go back to the TV episodes 25 and 26. And
Mm.
that kind of puts the whole thing in perspective. Because the last two TV episodes are so abstract
Mm-hmm.
that you kind of want to watch the movie ending first before tackling those.
Right.
Because, okay, here's the interpretation some fans have of between the TV ending and the movie ending is, first of all, the general consensus is both is canon. They're both telling the same story, but from different perspectives.
Mm.
Where the TV is like all happening inside people's heads,
Yeah.
and then the movie is what actually went on in the quote unquote real world.
But the TV ending, that director, director Anno, that didn't he say that was what he preferred? That was what he intended.
Is that really what he said? Like, did you hear that from an interview or something? Is that what he said?
I heard that on Wikipedia.
That's not really firsthand
the
evidence then.
the one where they end as everyone's clapping around him, right? That was the TV.
Yeah. Everyone
was
says
pretty-
congratulations. It's not an internet meme.
Yeah. Dude, I swear, Wikipedia said that was the director intended that was the ending that he wanted.
No way. Okay, just think if they had actually had the budget that they were supposed to have, would he really have made the same two episodes with like barely animations, mostly just pictures,
Mm.
right? If you did a second watch of the series, towards the second half, you'd notice certain clues that these guys are starting to cut corners. Like they're replaying the same animations. Like
Mm-hmm.
okay, like when you first seen that, that kind of board of directors at Seal,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
a bunch of guys in seats and in different colors or whatever,
Yeah, and
representing
they're all
different
they're,
countries.
they're all talking again
So
though.
those are the guys like actually running things in the background, like the Evangelion Illuminati.
Mm-hmm.
um, First few episodes, you actually see their faces, like the mouth moving and talking or whatever.
Yeah.
So towards the second half of the series, they become these monoliths with seal number 1, 2, just
Yeah, yeah,
numbers
yeah, yeah.
around, and Gendo at the center talking.
Right, right.
So you can interpret that as they don't even have the money to draw people anymore. They just draw rectangles,
Oh.
and then you can just put audio over that. No animation needed.
Mm. I mean that ending, it just wasn't good. The TV ending. There was something
Um,
about feeling rushed in
yeah,
that
yeah,
ending,
no,
right?
yeah, I totally agree. If you're talking about the TV ending by themselves,
Mm-hmm.
now when it's paired together with the movie, and I didn't get the chance to, I just got the chance to watch the movie ending last night, not the TV ending.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when I get around to it, I think when the two together tells a more coherent story than either of these individually.
The TV ending and the theatrical ending.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
I think they fit together. I might need a rewatch to confirm that thought, but that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Anyways, yeah. So going back to what the fuck happened. Basically, it's a third impact,
Mm-hmm.
right? So okay. So you might need a bit of background on this. Uh, to go way back, and this is kind of analogous to, I don't know if you watched 2001: Space Odyssey.
I haven't.
No, okay. Let me think of if there's any other, because that's the closest analogy I can think of to kind of pick up where the story starts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just think about it like this: there was a alien progenitor race,
Mm-hmm.
and this is before humans ever existed, before there was even life on Earth. There were these supposedly basically alien ancestors.
Right.
They were seeding the galaxies with life, and
Mm.
they were doing it in two ways. One is with the black moon, and one was with the white moon. So already you can see some kind of symbolism. That Taoism,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
black and white.
The
So
yin and yang thing.
yeah, so you got the black and white moons.
Yeah.
Lilith is in the black moon, and Adam is the white moon.
And there's kind of like this man and woman thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's again, this draws from kind of biblical Christianity.
Right.
You remember like the Book of Genesis when, so
I don't remember.
okay,
Sorry,
I don't know
I don't
either,
recall it.
but just the basic story is God creates the universe,
Yeah.
and then He creates Adam.
Yeah.
He creates a bunch of animals, and then it's like, oh, you know what, you need a companion. So he makes Eve from one of the ribs of Adam.
Right. Right. Okay,
So
that's familiar.
Adam's the first human, Eve is the second,
Yeah.
and she came from the first human.
Right. From his rib.
So this is just like the Eva, the big giant robots in Evangelion. They were created, they're Atom-based life forms. So if you think about the last couple of episodes in the TV series where Kaoru took control of Eva 2,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it was because they were both Atom-based life forms.
So the angels are actually Adam's son, right? Or they come
The
from Adam.
Atom-based life forms.
Okay.
And
And
humans are Lilith-based. So
Oh, I see.
Kaoru, when he talks about humans, he said Lilin. Lillian, or
Okay.
however you pronounce it.
That makes sense.
So he means just things that came from Lilith as opposed to
Things that
Adam.
came from. So Ava is actually something coming from Adam,
Yeah, it's created from Adam. That's right.
right? And I think you can go a little more deeper on this than I can, but isn't the Ava's representative of the souls of the pilots?
Rather, the Eva's the imbued the souls of the pilots' mothers in the robots.
Mhm.
So again, this goes back to that same episode when Kauto's invading Terminal Dogma. He says, "Oh, I would merge with Yiva Unit 2 if it didn't have a soul."
But that would end up exploding the world, wouldn't it? If they merged.
Um, if he merged with Adam, probably. Look, there's different versions of the third impact,
Yeah.
depending on how it goes. And if we try to talk about how exactly these work, we're gonna wade into really murky territory. Because
Okay.
I honestly, I don't even know I don't know if the creator knows exactly how it's supposed to work.
Mm.
But anyways, yeah. So Kauto enters Terminal Dogma, and he's looking at the weird, puffy-looking Michelin Man creature.
Yeah. Lilith.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was expecting Adam,
Yeah.
and most people on Nerve thought that thing was Adam, but it was actually Lilith.
Okay.
And I don't. It's really weird because I can't pronounce Lilith. Like I can't
Lilith.
pronounce.
Lilith.
It's so hard.
Lilith.
Lilith. Like I
Lilith.
can't. Anyways. So he's looking at it and he's like, wait a minute, this isn't Adam.
Okay.
So my interpretation is if that was Adam, he would have touched it and the whole world would have exploded like the second impact. But it was Lilith, so he couldn't make it happen, probably. And that's why he accepted, Shinji catching him in his hand and squeezing him to death. Because he's like, oh, okay, I can't do it. I can't initiate third impact. I give up.
Oh, okay.
And that might not make perfect sense, but that's, again, you can't really assume that the entire series was constructed perfectly from one coherent story. Like, if you do any sort of background research into the production process for the series,
Right.
you'll find out that the creator, he frequently changes his mind. Like, he changes storyboards at the last minute. It was supposed to be this, but it turned out to be that. So he didn't have the entire thing worked out before he ever started on it. So look, there's always a limit to how much we can analyze into the series.
Yeah. I think one thing that we can really delve into is the character development, right?
Yeah, yeah.
With Shinji and all the people around him, especially his the female, the female characters that.
Yeah,
are around him.
those are the ones that prove really critical for the ending.
Yeah.
'Cause-
No, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of that part in the theatrical release when him and Asuka are in the hospital.
yeah, okay.
Like, isn't that a great place to start? Like, what happened there?
Well, he was jerking off. What do you mean? What happened?
But like, why did he do that? Like,
Because he was horny. he seen her titties and she's like,
oh
oh.
my God. Just like, you'll never see an anime. I think you said this. You'll never see an anime where that kind of thing happens.
Happens in an unfunny.
Yeah, and
way.
it was totally unfunny, and the director was being totally serious. It was so somber, the mood.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the thing: why like the ending is just permeated with the like repressed sexuality, and I think this is. I think at some point it stopped being make the series for the creator and more about expressing himself. Because here's the important thing you got to understand about a creator. Ano,
Yeah,
he's borderline autistic, like very socially awkward.
I didn't know that. Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, he's an otaku. So I mean he's an OG otaku. Like he was an otaku before the word was invented. Like he was part of the generation that popularized the term.
Wow, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Goddamn.
So
It's fitting that he actually became an anime director.
yeah. And he I don't know when he got married, but it's just my personal opinion looking at how important sex is in the ending.
Yeah.
That he must have had problems with that. Like maybe he was a virgin until a very late age.
Yeah.
Maybe he had, I don't know, bad relationship with women.
Uh-huh.
Because there's no other way to explain why there's so much of that stuff in the ending. Because we never got a hint of it in the TV series except through comical shit. Like,
Right.
like you remember when Shinji was in the bath and Masato and Asuka was on the other side bathing and he gets a boner. I don't know.
Right, right. I
and,
remember
and,
that.
and then
Yeah.
the penguin sees it. It's like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, it got big. That was obviously meant to be funny,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember
right?
that scene.
So all the sex shit in the TV series, it's all that I can think of. Most of it, anyways, is for comedy.
Right.
But you go into the ending, it gets fucking real.
Yeah, and that, to say the least, man. Like
Cause,
that ending.
Cause during instrumentalities, he's arguing with Asuka. She's talking some shit, being angry at him, but he's looking at her body,
Uh-huh.
like her licking her lips. He's looking at her
Wait,
chest.
what was happening? Well, when was this?
In the ending, theatrical release.
Not when he was choking her, right? Like,
A bit earlier. There's like 3 or 4 interactions before that happens.
oh, okay.
It's probably the first one. Like it's fine if you don't remember, even right after watching it, because it's so jarring. It jumps from one thing to the other.
Yeah.
The point of it is there's so much of it that it must be it must have been a problem for the creator himself. Like he's expressing it through this. Like think about when during instrumentality it cuts to real life images.
Yeah, yeah. That was really weird.
Yeah.
Like in the theater, and then with the 3 people standing in the traffic. Like that was really weird. I didn't really understand why he decided to put real life images there.
Yeah. Again, I can only speak in terms of what I think is going on. What what I think is he's trying to make a very in your face connection between what is trying to communicate in anime and the real world. So here's the thing. Uh, you remember in the real life montage, the anime characters in the background talking about dreams or whatever.
In the theatrical release, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Okay.
talking about theatrical. Uh, they're talking about dreams and like you're just running away from reality, this and that, this and that.
Yeah.
I didn't catch this the first time I was seeing it, but the second time I was watching it, I was like, wait a minute, I think it's talking about escapism. Like, think
Escapism.
about how otakus isolate themselves from the rest of the world and just escape to alternate reality of whatever it is, anime,
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is they're into. And
So it might actually be the director telling all otakus to, get out of that escapism mind,
it could be.
right? So
Ye-
that's why.
Yeah, yeah. It seems really like some sort of criticism against the otaku culture and escapism.
Mm. When I watched that scene, I realized that, in the whole psychological flurry of emotions and feelings, that by adding that live bit, it actually added to the
It has a lot more impact.
yeah, and it's like, man, it's so psychological already. You put live characters into it, like that just adds an extra level of,
Yeah,
confusion.
it feels like he's screaming in your face like this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm talking about real, like I'm talking about the real world.
Yeah.
This isn't just like a 2D story anymore.
Mm. Man.
And I actually heard that footage. The people in the theater
traffic?
is
Oh, the
actually
theater,
in the like a. I think that was like a release of another movie version of the ending.
Wow.
I think it was called like Death and Rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
so there was actually
Well, he wouldn't have been allowed to record that and include that if that wasn't his.
yeah probably
Probably, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's footage from some kind of theatrical release of his own work.
Goddamn.
Anyways, so y- uh,
Dude, we got a bunch of notes around here.
yeah, but the thing is, whenever we start talking about one topic, we just wade
we
immediately into a separate topic, and we end up not resolving anything.
that might be my doing.
Yeah. Okay, so
When I'm
so
confused,
so
I
so
just end
so
up
let's
saying.
reel it back.
Okay, reel it back. Okay.
Okay, what is it that you're most
I
confused
I
about?
I'm confused about a lot of things.
Okay, we got to start with one.
But start with one. I think the most interesting thing is Shinji's relationships with the other characters,
Okay.
and Shinji's relationship with Asuka, and why did he end up choking her at the end?
Okay, yeah, you probably just started with the most important one right there.
Okay.
Um,
Wait, but before you describe your, let me give my version.
okay.
Um, he couldn't get it on with her, so then he ended up choking her.
No, it's more. It's a bit more than that. It's more than just sex.
Yeah.
It's gotta be. It's not like he's. It's not like he's propositioning to her. Oh, let's get it on.
Yeah.
It's like fuck you.
He's
and
like,
so,
oh no.
all right, fine, die, bitch. You know, you can't- I don't think that's what happened.
Okay, what do you think happened? I was that was just shooting the shit. I don't know.
Like I can't even think where to begin. First of all, the introduction of her in the series is very important.
How
'Cause,
so?
I think she's a very important foil to contrast against the personality of Shinji, because he's outwardly minuscule. Like he just puts himself in a corner. He doesn't want to get out there.
Right.
She's the exact opposite.
Right.
But what's really going on is they're the exact same thing inside. You understand what I'm saying?
Elaborate on that, because
Okay,
it just seems,
so I gotta go over the similarities of these two characters.
Mhm.
They both lost their mothers at a very young age.
Yeah.
So there's a very serious sense of abandonment for both these characters.
Right.
But what's interesting is the different ways that they deal with it. So
Mm.
so
Right.
just think about, like, first of all, at that sort of young age, you're just starting to form a very strong bond with your own parents, and that's the exact timing where both these characters lose their own mothers. That's very damaging,
Yeah.
because
That's
your
true.
parents are the first people in the universe that you have a stable relationship with. If you fuck that up, you basically have no practice for forming stable relationships with anybody.
Right. Right. You grow up kind of split yourself in terms of your personality.
Yeah. So your parents are the first people you practice having a good relationship with. And if you fuck that up, you could be fucked up for the rest of your life.
Yeah. And if you don't have like a good, strong parental connection, you can take references from other sources such as TV or media for inspiration on how to live a life.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's hard.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I see what you mean. Okay.
Right?
All right.
Okay, so these two, they both have an abandonment problem.
Mm-hmm.
And how Shinji, I think how he deals with it is, oh, if I never have a relationship, I can't be abandoned. I
For
can't
sure.
be
Yeah.
betrayed.
Yeah, I agree.
So he just avoids having intimacy with people in the first place.
Yeah.
Okay, so how Asuka seems to deal with it is, if I'm so strong and independent that I don't need help from people in the first place, I can't be abandoned. I can't be betrayed. Like,
That's deep.
I can't have people fail me if I can do everything myself.
Mhm.
Right? So think about how she's so wrapped up in her own personal self-image of being this awesome
Yeah.
ego pilot, being better than everybody else,
Yep.
and being this strong, mature person when she really isn't.
Right.
You know, she's trying to hope with Kaji, and it's like, oh, I'm a mature blah blah blah,
Yeah, yeah.
and let's get it on. And she didn't say that, but you know,
No, she kind of did when she rolled over when they were sitting on the boat,
yeah.
and then she just rolls over.
And he's like, "Get off me! I don't want to go to jail."
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay. Another way to think about it is like this. How should I describe it? Okay, in the theatrical release during the instrumentality, one of
Okay.
the first exchanges that she and Shinji have, she's naked on top of him, and then you see her face, and it's this. This is something you never see in regular anime. Is she's livid with anger? Like there's uh, her rage is ugly. Do you remember that image?
I don't remember it exactly, but I remember when she was in the pilot and she was fighting the 9 Ava beings,
Uh-huh.
and she was just pissed, just
Yeah,
trying to
but
kill.
at that point she's. I'm talking about the interaction between people. Like she's in a battle frenzy.
Yeah.
Like that's. Let me try to put it up on my phone. Actually, I think I can find it.
Yeah.
And anyways, the point of it is, she's angry at him. She's like, why is she angry at him?
Cause he's better than her, right?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Then I'm not sure.
That
I'm
that
not
might
sure
be
why.
part of the that might be part of the anger. Um, like I might have to pull up some of the dialogue because that's
Yeah.
very important. Um,
And Shinji is definitely a better pilot than Asuka is, and repeatedly throughout the series, you can tell that she's jealous of him. She's
yeah,
always like,
yeah,
and she's always like, oh, why don't you get Shinji? He's the better one.
yeah. So
Shinji will save us all, kind of thing.
so right there you can tell that her own personal image is way too overly dependent on her perceived competence as a Eva pilot.
Hmm.
And when she loses that, her whole persona kind of collapses.
Yeah, that
And
was
so
scary.
she basically has a mental breakdown.
Yeah, and then she can't even pilot anymore.
Yeah, because she's just so mentally unstable.
That's a really good point that you brought up about abandonment issues and stuff like that.
Yeah. They have two almost polar opposite ways of trying to cope with it.
Mm.
Right? She's trying to project an outward image that is opposite to what she really is on the inside.
Mm-hmm.
But Shinji wears it on his sleeve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you like think back to one of the scenes where they're alone in the house, and she's like,
She has to kiss him.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's also really important. I was talking about different scenes, but that scene's arguably more important.
Yeah.
So you need a bit of context to describe why that scene's so important.
Mhm.
So
Because that eventually led up to the hospital scene. It all continues from there.
yeah. I think what happened in that episode is she was trying to I think she was trying to get together with Kaji.
Yeah.
Shit, I forget the chronology of what happened. The point is she basically gets dumped by him, and then he's like, you're too young, bye.
Yeah.
And so she turns to Shinji, and he's like, oh, I'm bored, let's kiss.
Oh.
But obviously that's not the real reason.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's just got dumped by this guy she likes. Oh, here's Plan B. He's he's sitting
He's
right
just
there.
sitting around. Yeah.
Yeah. So one very important thing is she has this false image, right? Oh, I'm just bored. Let's just try it. Whatever. I don't care. But that's not really true.
Mm.
Because we see that getting played back later on in the series as a very pivotal point in how these two's relationship started becoming toxic, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, oh, your breath stinks. Let me hold your nose. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, she rinses her mouth. It's like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Again, it's this false image.
Yeah.
Look, first of all, she wouldn't do that if she didn't like him.
Oh, you think she likes him?
She definitely likes him.
Oh.
If she didn't, why would she do
I
that?
thought because she was bored. I thought she didn't like him.
Dude, she's not bored. What the fuck did I just say? You haven't been listening. Dude,
Okay. I think Ray likes him more than Asuka likes him.
not really.
No,
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think so.
Well, Ray's the best waifu.
Shut up.
Okay. Anyways,
Asuka
back to the
forever.
point. Back to the point.
Okay, let's leave the waifu words for later.
Yeah, that's the cherry on top.
No, okay, so at that point she was feeling really down, and she was looking for comfort from this guy.
Hmm.
But he's a passive, like scaredy cat.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, kiss. I don't
Man,
know.
I hate him. I hate him in the beginning, man.
Well, here's the thing. People who enjoy Evangelion usually hate themselves. So Shinji is the perfect representation.
Oh, I
Because
see.
you watch it and you hate him, but Shinji is you.
Oh,
So you really hate yourself. You understand what I'm saying?
yeah. Man, he's just such a coward, you know. Like, even right from the first episode, he has the power to pilot a machine that can save the world.
Uh-huh.
He ends up, just crying about it and doesn't end up doing anything until he sees Ray like in a wheelchair, like practically dying, until he actually takes action. Like, that's
what the fuck would you do? If someone showed up, you've been estranged from your father for 10 years.
Yeah.
Someone, it's the end of the fucking world. Aliens are attacking. Somebody shows up and just sticks you in an underground bunker with the 100-meter tall robot that you're supposed to get in. You're fucking 12. You're 12 years old, and you're being told you got to get in and save the entire humanity. What the fuck would you do? How's he a pussy?
The thing is, if all of humanity is depending on it, doesn't your ego kind of take over and say, you know what? If everyone is depending on me, I gotta do it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're 12.
You're 12, but like that's the time when you're like watching superhero movies and you're like, oh, I could be like Superman, I could be like Batman.
Those are all fantasies. Dude, throughout the series, he goes through exactly what a 12-year-old with saving the world fantasies would find out as he actually saves the world. He finds out that he isn't just battling aliens, he has to kill people. Maybe his friends.
Okay, all right, yeah. That at that point, I was kind of like, okay, that's kind of, as a 12-year-old, I would understand killing someone, but you're killing when you're killing angels. Those are monsters, like those are bad things that you should end up killing if you have the capacity to.
Yeah, but you're 12.
It's like that Spider-Man quote,
You're
man.
supposed to be eating ice cream and discovering jerking off at that age. That should be all you fucking care about. Not having the entire world, put on your shoulders.
Okay. What about this though? Okay, at the end, in the theatrical release, when Asuka is fighting those 9 Ava things, right?
Yeah, which coincidentally look like penises. I don't even. Oh, wait a minute, you're not circumcised. So you're just gonna have to take a leap of imagination here.
No, I've seen an uncircumcised penis before.
Okay, yeah, you don't have to give me the backstory on that one. Okay. Anyways, keep going.
So Asuka's fighting off those monsters, right? And she's fierce. And even at the end, Shinji's hiding in the thing, in like the bunker or in the,
Yeah, but she was doing the exact same thing comatose 10 minutes earlier, in the bottom of the lake.
Yeah. I just feel like Shinji's, I don't know. Like I don't know how to feel about him. On one hand, you're right. Like he's 12 years old. On the other hand, he's killed angels and he has the capacity to do it.
I'm not saying he's likable. I'm just saying pussy is too strong a term for the guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So how would you describe him? Like as his character? Like how would you describe him?
to me, it's a representation of some of the worst characteristics of the creator himself.
Mm.
And since I find a lot of similarities between him and me, I identify with the guy.
Mm. How so? Like
Like
the hospital scene? Did that happen to you before?
dude, you get in fucking jail for that. Yeah, 2 days ago. Let me think. Oh, you know when it goes to real life sequence
Okay.
and the whole thing starts becoming abstract. It's like you put a weird Instagram filter over the footage.
Yeah.
And it starts getting crazy. You hear like these porny sounds of girls moaning,
Right. Yeah. That was
and
weird.
then blurred images of naked women.
Yeah.
And then like there's porny sounds you hear on the
Yeah.
left side,
Just like
and
moaning and groaning.
and then women going, "Oh, you're disgusting. Get away from me. I don't like you."
yeah.
That sort of stuff on the right side,
Right. Right.
this is some repressed sexuality shit.
From the director himself.
It has to be.
Right. Right.
It's got to be because it shows up so suddenly. It wasn't anywhere in the TV series. If it was a recurring thing with the character, we should have seen it earlier. To me, this is coming from the creator himself. These are his problems, and identify with them.
Mm. And I think everyone kind of, I mean, not everyone, but a lot of people identify with that to some degree, right?
Yeah, because you've got this whatchamacallit, something to my tongue. Forgot the word for it.
Oedipus complex.
No, ambivalence towards the opposite sex.
I don't know what that word means.
Oh, you hate them and love them at the same time,
Oh, I see. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
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 Here's the thing: for somebody who's had a sex life earlier in their age and in a relationship,
Yeah.
like you probably don't know what the fuck he's talking about,
Yeah. You don't really. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's like you can't pinpoint why you hate them and love them at the same time, right?
Mhm.
Like you hate them for, I don't know, for one reason or the other, but then also you're attracted to them, and is that maybe why like people would get angry like at themselves or
Or at the world in general.
yeah,
Like maybe that's the point of the strangling scene. Is when you're being rejected, and it just breeds contempt and malevolence
yeah,
towards the world at large. Like think about those who drove cars through crowds
mm-hmm.
or went to women's college shooting up the place.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
maybe
even
that's what it represents.
Even in here in Toronto with that with the guy that ran the car.
Yeah, and it's like maybe it's just a coincidence he's around over more women than men, but I don't really know why he did that. Did they ever release a report?
It was related to the what's it, the incel group thing.
Oh, it was an incel. Yeah.
He was incel,
Yeah, so there you go.
and so I don't know.
See, you don't understand because you've got to,
Yeah.
you don't have those problems.
I mean, to some extent, I did, and on a different level, I do understand it.
Yeah.
But
No.
I mean, I might not be able to relate, like as you would, for example. Okay, so that's Shinji and Asuka, right?
It's I'm actually not finished talking about it.
Oh, okay, all right. Continue.
Okay, so it's important to understand they both hate themselves.
Right.
Because I think there was a bathroom scene where she's close to having a mental breakdown. So she says, "Oh, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this person, I hate everybody, but most importantly, I hate myself."
Right.
Um, now, now again, going back to how Shinji is the perfect foil for Asuka. He's the complete opposite of what she's trying to project.
He's the complete opposite of what
She's trying to project.
Okay.
She's trying to show herself as being an independent, confident person.
Right.
But she's the exact opposite on the inside.
Right.
So if you saw somebody that represented exactly what you hated about yourself, wouldn't you hate that person?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And maybe you even feel better about yourself if you started berating him
Yeah.
and shouting at him. It's like letting off steam against the hate you have for yourself.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
maybe that explains why she's being a bitch to him.
Yeah. She's projecting onto him her own
Insecurities.
insecurities.
Yeah. So if you take a Jungian approach, he's her shadow. Like if you've never heard the term before, the shadow is basically like subconscious or unconscious aspects of one's personality
Right.
that the ego, the conscious parts of your mind, doesn't want to admit exists. Like that you want to look away from.
Right.
You
right.
don't want to see.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't want to see herself as being needy, in need of other people's help. She doesn't want to see herself as being insecure.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's exactly what Shinji is,
He's insecure outwardly.
outwardly.
Yeah.
And he's a pussy outwardly.
He's a pussy outwardly, but he's actually like the strongest guy inside.
He's not the strongest guy inside. He might be the better pilot.
Yeah. That's how it was judged, like by.
So there you go. So she hates him because she hates herself. Now go back to that scene where she's naked on top of him, and she's got that livid anger on her face. It's just ugly.
Yeah.
It's an ugly rage
Yeah, it's a scary woman.
because she's angry at herself. She says, "Whenever I see you, I get so irritated." That's
Yeah.
because she hates herself, not him.
Wow. I did not see it that way at all. I thought
She's just a bitch.
on my level, I just thought that she was angry at that Shinji's a better pilot.
It's more than that.
It's more than that. Yeah,
It
obviously,
is
yeah.
that, but it's a lot more than that. Because him being better than her is another nick in her own perfect self-image as being better than everybody else.
Yeah, and you know that actually reminds me of the scene. You remember when when she's on the phone with someone in Germany? I forgot who it was.
With her foster mother.
With her foster mother, and she's trying to put up this front, like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
everything's good, and I'm having a great time here.
Mm-hmm.
That was so fake, you know, like that was just her trying to, again, as you said, show that she's independent.
Mhm.
And that's crazy, man. I actually didn't think of it as
Yeah,
that.
so you see...
It's a lot deeper. Like that relationship, that dynamic is a lot deeper than what I thought before.
Yeah, so maybe now you understand why I think she's a more nuanced character than Rey. Compared to her, Rey's just an empty doll. Just a hug pillow.
Yeah. Asuka's more human, definitely.
She's one of the most important characters in the entire series, I can tell you that much.
That is a good point.
Yeah. All right.
Well, what about okay, so the next dynamic that we're talking about, Shinji and Katsuragi.
Masato.
Yeah.
That's a very weird one.
Because
Where do you even want to begin?
in the theatrical release,
Uh-huh.
just as he goes, she ends up kissing him.
Yeah.
And then she dies, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's start with that. Like, what's going on between them? First, on a surface level, like, okay, so does Shinji even like her?
Okay, on a surface level, is she trying to bang him or not?
Yeah, yeah, because she did phone, like there was that scene when they were at home and she said something. I forgot what did she say again? Like,
this is the only thing I can do for you for now.
this is the only thing I can do for you.
And goes for his hand.
Yeah, and then she's like, no, or something, right?
Yeah,
And
don't
he
do
said,
it.
No, don't do it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And so she goes out of the room and it's like, what's going on? Is she afraid of women? Like, is she?
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that's very suggestive. Like the first time I watched that, I thought she was just trying to hold his hand and comfort him.
Mm-hmm.
The second time around, I'm like, wait a minute, she's coming on to him,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, there,
And
there's a bunch of clues for and against. Like going back to even the first episode, he gets a picture of her, like in these shorty shorts, and then there she draws an arrow pointing to her cleavage,
mm-hmm.
and then it's got a lipstick mark on the picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that a really appropriate thing to send to a 12-year-old that you never met before?
Definitely not. Yeah, definitely
Like,
not.
think if the sexes were switched. It was a fucking hairy guy in Daisy Dukes, and with the arrow pointing at his fucking hairy chest,
Oh fuck, that's gross.
or his crotch, and he's like, "Pay attention," to a 12-year-old girl.
All you hear at the door is FBI.
Chris Hansen poking his head up. Just sit right there.
God damn.
Okay,
anyways.
so there's that. There's the hand holding thing. So here's the thing. Sorry, I'm snapping. He's like showing off the microphone because I'm trying to think. Here's my theory. I'm just gonna get to the end of it. I think Masato uses sex as a way to gauge the intimacy level of her relationships.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like the more close she is with someone sexually, the more she thinks they're intimate in terms of a relationship.
Because with Kaiji, she's really close with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but she only ends up having sexual relations with Kaiji and Shinji, isn't that?
Just Kaji, really.
Kaiji, yeah, and but then with Shinji with the the fantasy, the mind of doing it, right?
Which episode was that?
No, she didn't have like actual sexual relation, but she thought of it, right?
She thought of it?
Yeah, with the hand holding and all that stuff.
Oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's hard to definitively say if she was gonna bang him right then and there. It's hard to say.
I mean, she probably forcibly could have done it because he's like fucking 12 years old, which would have been great.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, okay. Just to add on to your point, Masato seems like she defines her self-worth by her sexuality. You think so?
I don't think so. I don't think the deficiency in her personality is necessarily self-worth.
Because I vaguely remember in many scenes she's like, I just want to feel like I exist. And so that by having sex, she feels like she exists. And it's a real type of connection that she has with someone in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas,
well, yeah, there you go. So maybe the sex thing is how she thinks she really knows she has a connection with somebody.
yeah, in the moment.
Yeah.
Not really like if you think on the other hand, her friend, what's her friend's name? The blonde girl?
Ritsuko.
Ritsuko, yeah.
Ritsuko.
Ritsuko, who's quite cold to everybody, right? And doesn't really, she never has any romantic partner in the. Maybe
She was banging Gendo.
Oh yeah, she was banging Gendo, which is weird.
Yeah,
because
Gendo
was banging
banged
his
her
mom. Man, he's a pimp. God damn,
yeah, he's a real pimp because he doesn't give a shit about either of them. And
yeah. He ends up locking up Ritsuko and then calling her when he needs her.
Yeah.
Oh,
damn, yeah, you're right. Actually, that's some pimp shit right there. Bitch, get out here. Fix my computer. She's like, okay, daddy.
Yeah. but she ends up killing. No, she doesn't. It doesn't work. Okay,
she tries to kill him.
She tries to, but it doesn't.
And she gets betrayed by her own mother. That's fucked up.
Yeah, man. Oh God.
Like
Casper
Casper is the women aspect of
of
Akagi.
Maggie
Uh,
of Akagi. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah, Akagi's last name.
Yeah.
So, like, wow, that's pretty fucked up. I now think about it. Her
Yeah.
own mother
It always comes back
picks the
to the
guy
mother.
who's been fucking them over her own daughter.
Dude, it always comes back to the mother. Don't you realize?
Yeah,
Like
that's
this
why.
whole fucking anime series is about the mom.
Yeah, the whole thing is one big Oedipus complex.
Yeah. No,
with
man.
the robots having the soul of your mother. Everybody has mommy problems.
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh. And anyways, yeah, I think the Shinji Masato relationship is one of the most enigmatic ones in the series.
Wait, the who? The um.
Like whether she was trying to have sex with him, like other relationship, like is her relationship with him one more of like a parental guardian, as a bigger sister,
Yeah.
as a sexual prospect? It's so mixed up you can't tell.
Man, to be honest, if I was in Shinji's position, I would just fantasize about her all the time. You know, like she's attractive,
Hmm. And Shinji doesn't do that,
and he
strangely.
doesn't do that. I'm
Yeah,
like, come
there's
on,
just
dude.
not one clue that he's ever attracted to her.
Yeah, you're right. I'm just thinking, even if you hate yourself, man, a beautiful, hot lady is right there.
Yeah, your dick and balls doesn't care what you think,
Yeah,
doesn't care about your self-esteem.
she comes in with a few beers, all
With
tipsy.
yeah, in the short shorts, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, I don't think I'll ever understand that.
Dude, that one's I still haven't figured out.
Yeah.
Cause think about it. There's a lot of times in the middle of a battle, and she's like Shinji-kun, as he's getting into trouble. Like
Yeah.
that's going beyond, being a professional commander.
Uh huh.
Like she's freaking out that he's in danger.
Which is kind of what like a bigger sister and mom would
Yeah,
do.
which would be what a mom would do,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
which is also what a like a
A
lover
lover.
would do.
A lover,
Like
yeah.
when he's dissolved inside the robot.
Mm-hmm.
Like you remember that scene where there's just suit left in the liquid,
Yeah.
and when their recovery project fails and and the liquid all spills out, and she's hugging an empty suit, crying.
Yeah, which is way beyond the boundaries of a commander and a pilot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's weird too.
I still don't know what to make of it. I think I got the Shinji Asuka one down fairly good.
Yeah,
but
that one.
This
That one
one still
I
escapes me.
mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one
All
for
right,
now.
next one. All right.
Shinji and Rei.
That's just goes back to the Oedipus complex
yeah,
again.
him and his mom, because Rei is actually
It is a clone of his own mother.
but partially, right? Not completely. Like
I think she has the soul of Lilith in her.
Lilith.
Because
Okay.
think about it, like the mother soul has to be in the robot. You can't put two of the same souls in two different things.
Right.
So what the hell? Who the hell's soul is in Rei?
Yeah. Just going back to the beginning, like the first what was the first encounter that we saw of Rei? It was
It was actually in the first
first
episode.
she was broken up on the bed on the gurney.
Way before that. If you rewatch the first episode, he's Shinji's at the payphone trying to call Masato.
Okay.
He looks out over to the road, and an image of Rei actually flashes across the road.
I did not notice.
You didn't catch that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like a
it
ghostly image of her before he ever met her.
oh, is it like the Fight Club thing where like Brad Pitt
Yeah,
just
exactly like
oh,
that.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
But
Okay.
a little longer than that, but that's exactly it.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. So that was the first image, and then after that, we see her broken up on a gurney,
Mm-hmm.
which inspires Shinji to actually take action.
Yeah, but they think about did his dad plan that? To wield the fucking gurney to where exactly he can see it?
Man,
To push him to get in the robot? Maybe he did that.
given how like
You wouldn't be surprised if he
yeah,
did,
I would
huh?
not be surprised. Yeah, like he's a mastermind, and he's a pimp at that.
Yeah.
Okay, so and then the first time we see her room is like totally barren.
Might as well be a cardboard box.
It was horrible, man. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, because she was born in that exact environment in an underground lab, basically, because she's a clone.
Mm-hmm. But throughout the whole series, that Ray is the real Ray, right?
What do you mean real?
Because there is a real Ray in the beginning,
As opposed to a
a clone,
fake.
as opposed to, as to those
They're all
dummies.
clones. All the Rays are clones.
I thought.
She was a clone from the very get go. Okay,
Oh, okay,
here's
okay.
how it works. You remember when Ritsuko's mother killed like baby Ray?
Um. Oh yeah, yeah,
She was
yeah.
strangling her.
Yeah.
That was the first one.
Mhm.
That was the first clone.
Oh, I see. But that clone, that baby Ray actually
Actually got killed.
she got killed.
So he just made another one. And
Damn.
Ray number 2 is the one Shinji meets.
Damn.
And then in that episode where the Halo-looking angel forces her to self-destruct, Ray 2 is dead. So they made Ray 3,
Wow.
and that's the one that makes it to the end of the series.
Okay.
There
Okay.
could be more before that. You don't,
Right.
you know,
Just
but
keep
we'll only
it
see the
three.
3.
Okay. So back to his relationship with her. What do you make?
Yeah.
of
So
it?
there's a natural attraction, not necessarily sexual.
Let me eat some candy.
Between him and her.
Huh?
Because one of the episodes, I forget what, he's looking at her wringing out a washcloth I can't even say elevator.
Elevator. Come on, man.
Elevator.
We're making a podcast here.
Fuck. Is in the thing that goes up and down.
Okay.
He's like, "Oh, you look like a mother. You were wringing out that washcloth."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
In a really awkward way. She's like, "What the fuck are you saying?"
Yeah, that was one of the few times she felt embarrassed.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're trying to pick up a girl and you're like, oh, you look like a mother doing that.
You take our kids real good. But other than that, I can't really see any sort of complex interaction between the two. Not on the level that the Hen Asuka has. Because first of all, they barely talk to each other. Right?
But Shinji is really jealous of Rei and her relationship with his father, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So that's kind of weird too.
Yeah, again, he craves praise from people. And that's part of what motivates him to pilot those robots. Because he can't get that sort of praise from himself. Because he hates himself.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
His self-esteem is so low that he needs it coming from others. Because he can't create it himself.
Which is partly the abandonment you're talking about, where his mom and his dad were not there growing up, so he couldn't build up that confidence growing up.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why he's in the train in the orange light.
Yeah. Okay.
Screaming to everybody, be nice to me.
Okay, the train thing. What is that all about?
First of all, the train thing is Japanese, first of all.
Okay.
And second thing is, it is really weird.
Because you were talking off air that it represented like going into someone's mind. It's a recurring motif.
It could. There's multiple ways of looking at it, I think. One of the ways is, I mean, we both take public transit.
Right.
So think about how you're in a streetcar or bus.
Yeah.
Like with like 50 other people.
Yep.
And you just try to block them all out. Have you ever rode in a bus?
Yeah.
And then you somehow got into a conversation with the person beside you.
Yeah.
And then after you're done talking, you become really uncomfortable.
With the silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever noticed that?
For sure.
Because before that, you black out everybody like they're not people, they're things. Like there's just objects around you in the bus.
Oh,
But as soon as you talk to one of them beside you, it
It-
breaks the illusion this is a real person. And now you feel really awkward not talking to them.
oh,
When you're in a bus, there's an inherent degree of isolation you have with people because you pretend they're not people. You pretend they're not there, so you can have an illusion of your own personal space. Imagine if you knew everybody in the bus
right.
and you rode with them. It's you go out of your mind. I know I would.
Uh-huh.
If there were people I knew,
That's almost like
you'd be really uncomfortable.
that's almost like at the workplace when you like if you walk into a room and you know everybody
Hmm.
and you're forced to make small talk kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah. So being in a train is inherently isolating. It's a paradoxical kind of isolation where you're surrounded by people,
Mm.
but you're isolated from them. Everybody's just trying to like maintain an illusion of their own personal space and just stay in their own heads
Right.
and not be bothered by the knowledge that's surrounded by other people with each with their own lives as complex as yourselves, and everybody has a story to tell if you just ask them.
Which is amplified in Japan because Japan in the trains there's even more seclusion, right?
Hmm.
There's not as much. Okay. All right.
There's other things to it.
Yeah.
Like think about I don't know. I haven't thought about the train motif a lot.
So all those characters in the train
Hmm.
is actually them going into their mind, right?
I interpret it as them talking to themselves.
Them talking. To
I mean,
themselves.
towards the end, they're really talking to each other because they've all been turned into a liquid, into a single thing, and so they're just communicating directly with each other. But before that, if you think about that episode when Shinji's trapped in that angel, he gets sucked into like a black hole or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
and he ends up on a train across from himself, but at a younger age.
Yes, yes.
I interpret that as him talking to himself.
Him going in his own head and talking to himself.
Yeah.
Okay. What were they talking about again? Like something about being isolated.
Yeah, I think the younger him was trying to say he's avoiding people, avoiding relationships.
Oh right, yeah. We were talking about this.
Yeah, and I think maybe at a subconscious level he understands what he's doing wrong.
But he doesn't want to admit to it.
Yeah. It's almost interacting with your own subconscious. That's one way of seeing it. Anyways, yeah, to close off the Shinji Rei relationship, that's yeah, that's to me that's just not as interesting as the Shinji Asuka one.
That one is says Oedipus all over it.
Yeah, yeah. When he's picturing stabbing the angel, but it's really his father, like
Yeah.
that makes it really obvious.
Yeah. And then even at the end in the theatrical release, his Ava is eating Gendo, right?
Yeah. Bites him in half.
Bites him in half. Yeah. And all the while, let's talk about the style of the anime, right?
Mhm.
Like the music selection.
Hmm.
It really messed me up how they excuse me, how they have horrible scenes, very gruesome and grotesque scenes.
But it's pairing like
but they put classical music,
yeah.
or they put like some type of happy, like in the theatrical end of the theatrical release, as everyone's getting merged into one.
Hmm.
They're playing like some type of happy country music,
Yeah, upbeat pop song.
and I'm just like, oh man, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, because of the juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Your head is confused.
Yeah,
Because we're all used to movies when they're running through the streets are really intense. They play some intense
yeah,
music,
yeah. Something that relates to what's going on.
yeah. But when it doesn't,
Yeah.
think about it. Like in a way, it's genius because it highlights to you how you feel at the moment.
Yeah.
Like that sort of contrast actually, I think it actually amplifies the emotional
Oh,
impact.
definitely does. Like, I like the way of me getting confused, and I think I would imagine most viewers would get confused at that.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes it more like, you know, because it's all psychological anyways. So it's adding more to that in terms of you're being confused,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and I wanted to say one other thing. Throughout the whole anime, there's they don't really like they're very selective about how they use the music.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes it's quiet, like there's no music soundtrack in the background,
Mm-hmm. Or just cicadas.
or cicadas. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I really like that aspect of it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I think the music and the selection of music
The,
really
the
adds.
judicial use of music.
Yeah, whatever that word means.
They use it selectively. They don't overuse it.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that in layman terms.
Judicial makes sense. You don't need to go through a fucking thesaurus to understand what judicial, like a judge.
Oh, okay, judicial. I would have said they use it selectively. Like that would.
Okay.
All right, okay. Okay. Yeah, so I really like the music composition of it.
Mm.
And the jungle beat. I was talking to you about the jungle beat. You know, like when they're in the train, there's like a
Yeah, I didn't even notice.
man,
I was less paying attention to the music and more trying to figure out what the hell's going on between the people.
yeah. I gave up on that. Well,
Yeah,
so I
okay,
just,
you
like,
just started listening to
I
music.
I just went surface level. Oh, Ava's killing angels.
Oh, look at the colors. Ooh, sounds.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. How long have we been running for?
Let's see.
Dude,
Dude, it's 3:30. We're actually out of time.
oh wow.
Yeah,
That was
we
actually,
have to
that was
close this
actually
off right
really,
there and figure out how to upload this.
And we got to figure out how to ask for ads.
Ask for ads, yeah. But by the way, whoever's listening, we got ad spots. We'll take any sponsors, please, please.
We'll pay you.
Yeah. Wait, don't say that on the air. Jesus Christ.
All right.
Right.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, okay. Catch you in the next one.